Hey all, I am Joel Mahony. I am the creator of Spiritual Superheroes Coaching, this fine channel. I welcome you all today. This is my first time going live. So I just thought I would jump on and have a little chat to everyone who wants to jump on and yeah, let's get to know each other a little bit. So how's everyone doing? I'll just wait for everyone to jump on. Hey, it works. How you doing? It's working. This is awesome. You're angry at your wheelchair. Why's that? Oh, the seatbelt's not working. I don't have a seatbelt on mine. Last time I did have a seatbelt on mine, I actually tipped out of my wheelchair and yeah, I was strapped in. So I prefer I mean, they say it's more dangerous to not have a seatbelt, but I think it actually is for us to have seatbelts. I think they're more dangerous in a situation where we fall out of our wheelchair because we can't control where we're falling while the seatbelt's on. Hi, Diamond. So, how am I? I'm good. I've sort of had a little bit of a cold the last few days. I woke up feeling like I'd been hit in the throat with a hammer, but I'm holding in there. It's sort of, I mean, I've just been resting for the last few days, but it's getting better slowly. So, as many of you know, I am a life coach. So, what I would like to know is how can I better help you? Is there any area of your life that you need help with as far as business, um, your life purpose, what you like to do, your self confidence, anything like that? Um, as a life coach, I can help. So all people have to do is let me know. Thank you, Diamond. Yeah, it's a process having a cold, but I'm not too bad. I can still talk, thankfully. I think I think all that singing yesterday, I like to sing in my spare time with my headphones in. So yesterday I probably shouldn't have done so much singing, and I think my throat's paying for it today. How can you inform your dad that you want your own freedom without him jumping down your throat? Well, I mean, the way I did it when I moved out of home when I was 23, and the way I did it was I just drove my mum mad until she kicked me out. So, I mean, that's how that went. But you just got to sit your dad down and just explain, in a civil conversation that you're at that age of your life where you need to venture out on your own and gain a little bit of independence. In a nursing home? Yeah, no. No. You need, I mean, you're doing great things. You can obviously, handle yourself well. I see that in you. So you just need to project that, I guess, towards your family. Show them that you are capable, which you in fact are. Show them that you are capable, and just they will eventually come around, hopefully. Yes, well, I mean, if worst comes to worst, and I was in this situation myself when I moved out, there are always people that can come in and help you with things. You can hire people for that to come into your home. If you move out and find your own place, you can always get, services can be provided where you're not going to be totally alone all the time. When you do need help, there will be always help, you know, people to provide help for different things. Yeah, a help aid. I mean, I had all that when I moved out until I met my fiance. We do most things together now, so I'm not sort of in need of most of the help that I was getting from um, support workers and stuff like that. So, I mean, now I do most things. I've pretty much in the last 12 months only fully gained my full independence. I used to rely on other people to, help me do a lot of stuff. But I think meeting my fiance and venturing out fully on my own to where it's just us and the kids, it sort of is. I mean, the last 12 or so months has been a really good growing experience for me personally because, as I said, only in the last 12 months or so have I felt like I've fully gained my independence. I've before then, I've always had support workers and all the other people that have helped me. So, I mean, I'm in a place now in my life where I can fully say I'm doing life all, on my own terms. And basically, that's what it's all about. We have to live life on our own terms. As people with spina bifida or other disabilities, we do need to, as I say, we do need a hand every now and then, but we just have to let our friends and our family know, because I'm sure they are always going to be there for us when we need them. I mean, my mum, she's a classic example, because at the beginning she was skeptical with the whole moving out. I actually told my mum that I needed more independence. I needed her, because before I met my fiance, my mum was primarily doing most things for me. And that's not to say that I needed her to, but she's one of those mothers that actually likes doing things for she likes doing things for her kids. And that's not anything bad, but in the big grand scheme of life, if you're doing too much for someone, it can actually stunt their growth in a way, because they're not actually learning stuff about themselves. They need to venture out into the world and learn things and be who they are and discover themselves to be able to grow. Yes, well, as people, you know, that have spina bifida and anyone with a disability, I've always maintained that while I find the word inspiration a lot of the time, because people use it wrong a lot of the time, sometimes when someone says that we can be an inspiration, it can come across quite condescending at times. But in this situation, I mean, we have things to offer the world, things that, I hate to say it, able-bodied people a lot of the time don't see, because we have lived through experiences that have made us grow. They've, made us who we are, and they've actually made us stronger for, experiencing these things. A lot of these things have been stuff that nightmares are made of, but I mean, through adversity and everything else, we have come out on top. And as I said, we're stronger people for it. So if that is what um, being an inspiration is all about, I will definitely put my hand up. If I can help others through my own struggles, through learning about my own struggles and finding out who I was, which for the longest time, to be honest, I didn't really like. I didn't like who I was. I struggled with addictions. I struggled with life because I didn't accept myself. This was only probably maybe 5 years ago. I went through this. Only in the last probably 3 years have I actually embraced who I am as a person, disability and all, and have actually grown from it. Because for the longest time, I hid from myself, whether that be from, you know, drinking, because there was a lot of drinking. I'd have days where I'd wake up and I would say, I don't want a life today. So I would hit the bottle and just forget about the day. There was many days where, I mean, and I've said this to you before, I wasn't always a superhero. And to be quite honest, I am a human being at the end of the day. Superheroes, yeah, they go out, they, you know, make the world a better place. But at the end of the day, they're just people. And that's the same as us. We're just people at the end of the day. And we go through these things and we grow through these things. So life is all about living it. So, I mean, if going through all those things was what I had to do to become a superhero, then I think I have earned every right to call myself said superhero. Yeah, that's, I mean, cerebral palsy, even that, I, I, I mean, there's a quite a large disabled community where I live, and they're all, you know, I see people in wheelchairs and people with all different sorts of disabilities every day. And at the end of the day, when I see these people, I smile. I will wheel my wheelchair past these people and smile, and sometimes I even shake their hand, because a lot of people find this weird to for me to say, but it's actually other people with disabilities that actually inspire me to be better at what I do, because they are my people. They get what I've gone through, and still some of those people are going through the same thing themselves. They haven't got over that hill that I had to get over. So I feel a certain responsibility to actually help those people that are struggling, you know, with their own situation. My phone was ringing. People always seem to ring me when I'm busy. That is quite strange. And that's my message tone. I should probably put my phone on silent. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the piece of advice that I can give you all is that a lot of people always look for the good things in their life to lift them up when they're having a bad day or caught in the middle of a bad situation. What I'm here to tell you is that while that will fix things in the short term, you need to also venture onto the other side of things and actually find things to be grateful for within the bad things, because everything gets us to where we are in our lives, every situation, because you got to take the good with the bad. Um, because to appreciate the good things in your life and embrace the good things in your life, you need the bad, because without the bad, you really wouldn't get a sense of what the good things were, and vice versa. So, whether we like to look at the bad things and see them as a glass half full type situation, they all play a part in where we are in our lives today. Everything gets us to where we are. So we do have to embrace everything in our lives. Yes, we do. That sounds awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, we are people that, as I said, we're people that do have things to offer the world, because we've been at the bottom of the hill. And let me tell you, when you're at the bottom of the hill, there's nowhere to go but up, because you're at the bottom. You can't fall any further. So, I mean, I, with my addictions and everything else, back when I was caught in all that, I was at the bottom of the hill. But I was fortunate enough to have that aha moment where I went, this needs to change. I can't be doing this for the rest of my life. It's just not working. And quite frankly, I ended up running into a few health issues due to the drinking and everything else. So, I mean, things had to change. And that is when I actually myself got the help from other life coaches. And this is what led me to what I do today. If I can help and inspire anyone just by telling my story and being who I am, then I think that is a pretty good thing. So, as you did for me, I have just added you as an admin, as told from the wheelchair. So now you are now a moderator. I've added you as a moderator. Um, that's that's awesome. Well, if you need any help with any speech ideas and stuff like that, um, I'm always good to bounce ideas off. I added you too, Diamond, as a moderator. So, I mean, if it's just, you know, a couple of us, it all just starts with a couple of us. We can all together make a difference. And at the end of the day, if any of you are going through things, even just having a bad spina bifida day, if you're feeling like life isn't doing the best things for you any particular day, I'm just a message away. And and I'm sure you all would do the same for me. So, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, I I sit here with a smile on my face and everything's peachy. Everything's cool, everything's good. Um, but the reality of that is everything's not good all the time. And it's not going to be. Whether someone has a disability or not, they all have a point where they need to even just slow down a bit because, as we know, the world goes too fast at the best of times. Everyone's rushing around and things are going to get to us, especially us with disabilities and stuff. Um, those of us in wheelchairs, even. I mean, just being in a wheelchair sometimes it's like I actually joke with my fiance when we're in each other's way because when we're trying to get around each other, when we're sort of maneuvering around the house, I always say when you're in a situation like that, who is in whose way? Am I in her way or is she in mine? I mean, that's just something to think about. They sort of, even when you're out and about, they don't have sidewalk rules. You know, two people can be walking either way like that, and who moves out of whose way? There's no sidewalk rules. There should be sidewalk rules. Otherwise, two people are going to just walk into each other. So, I mean, these are the little things that I think about too. And this is why I say a sense of humor is absolutely pivotal in us more so because little things like that amuse me are what at the end of the day when I'm having a bad day will lift me up. Just the tiniest things thinking about, and a lot of the time your average person will think a lot of my thoughts are quite silly, and I get that, but I mean silly is funny. I find the little things amusing and even irony. I love irony. I love the fact that they called an orange because it is in fact an orange. um, and like I don't know, you can find irony in just about anything. Like irony itself is ironic because with irony, the definition of the word irony would dictate that it is in fact ironic. So irony itself is ironic. Um, and you can look at anything and find some irony in it. And I myself quite find irony quite amusing at the best of times. Yeah, well, it is. Irony is ironic because of the definition. It's ironic. The definition dictates that it is, in fact, ironic. You know, stupidity is stupid. Like, um, when you are reading, you've read. Um, when you are eating, you eat. You know, everything's ironic. Yeah. See, and I mean, that's basically what a lot of people, they go, ha ha, Joel's being silly again. Because I I like to find irony in things. Irony, I mean, irony itself is a joke. It's amusing. Anything that you can find amusement in basically is some sort of hilarious situation. Um, we Another one that would be to do with us is that we are disabled, so we have a disability. I mean, that's ironic. When we're watching what's on the TV, it's on the TV. That's ironic. So yeah, um, I shall, now that I've actually worked out how this whole thing works, I can jump on at any time and talk to you all. This is fantastic. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's fun. I mean, as I say, my sense of humor can be questionable at times. I do get that. People, not a lot of the time, find amusement out of my brand of comedy, but um, going back to what I was saying, as people with disabilities, we have to look at these things, even just small things that make us smile when we're having a bad day. Quite often, those things can be pivotal to getting us back and lifting us up. So, I think for us to have a sense of humor is a crucial thing in how we deal. I mean, there was a time in my life where I used to use my sense of humor to mask certain situations. And I think, sadly, I think a lot of people do that. A lot of comedians, especially, will use their sense of humor to mask their inner pain. Um, and as I said, I used to do that. I'd sort of make light of the things that I was going through, and I wasn't as open as I am now. Now that I have actually been over the hill and got myself to where I am today, I can talk about, my own life situations and everything that has come with those situations. But if I'm totally honest, there was a time in my life where I couldn't. Just talking about those situations used to break me. I had days where I cried. There's nothing wrong with crying when you have a bad day, and people need to know that too. There's still a sort of stigma where when we do have a bad day, we have to sort of put on a brave face, but we don't need to always. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need an ear, a shoulder, or even a hand on the best of days. And I do believe, seriously, that as human beings, we were put on this earth to all help each other in one way or another where we can. That is what I believe. So, this is me telling you all that if you ever need anything, whether it be an ear, a hand, or even just a shoulder, if you're having a really bad day, I'm always good to help people, lift their spirits. I can tell you funny jokes. So, I mean, as I said, I had to go through a lot to get to that stage where I could actually say that I am 100% comfortable with who I am. And honestly, still, and you can hear it in my voice, I still do have bad days. Not so many bad days anymore, but there are still mildly bad days. Because there's always going to be, I guess, it's more, I think, with me, and you can tell me how you all feel about this. With me, I don't think anymore it's so much about my disability. Do have a bad day. It's more about the repetitiveness of it. I mean, doctor's appointments and stuff. I have endless amounts of doctor's appointments, and that's been my whole life up until now. But there are days where I do need to go to the doctor, but I don't want to, because that is part of my life that has been one of the repetitive points of my life. And I get tired of it. And all the other procedures, like, you know, sort of navigating my way through everything else, all that can get repetitive as well. So, I mean, that's the type of stuff that gets me down, when it gets me down. But a lot of the time, I'm able to distract myself and keep keep going with whatever I'm doing on any given day. I'm usually good at, bouncing back now for one, you know, I guess I can distract myself better. And even that, distracting yourself, I've always said, distract yourself for a little while from whatever problems you are facing. But at the end of the day, you need to look at those problems and say to yourself, how can I fix them? Because distracting yourself is basically just a band aid. You can't always just distract yourself because that's not actually dealing with what you may be going through. You need to look at the things that you're going through and actually face them head on. As painful as that can be at times, and I've been faced with these situations many times myself, um, I do believe that, you know, what's best for us as people, as human beings, is to, as scary as that may be to face, we have to look at them and say, I can do this. Yeah, the monotony of it. That's that's basically what it is. It can get repetitive, as I said. Um, and like at the end of the day, we get tired. As as I've said a few times, we're human beings. We get tired at the end of the day. I mean, a lot of able-bodied people look at us and they say, "You're in a wheelchair. How do you get tired? But you're sitting down all day." But they don't realise that we're using our arms. Number one, pushing yourself around in a wheelchair, especially me. I weigh around 80 kilograms. Um, I'm not sure how much that is in pound, but 80 kilograms I weigh. So basically, I'm pushing 80 kilograms around in a wheelchair all day. That is tiring work. And people often look at us in wheelchairs and will say, why do you get so tired? Because they won't realize that instead of how they do things, which is walking, we are actually walking with our arms. And our arms will, I guarantee you, probably get 10 times more tired than their legs will. All right, Astel from the wheelchair. Glad you're coming up with new ideas. Yeah, 176 pounds. Well, there you go. Um, so, I mean, people don't realize stuff like that. It's like putting 80 kilos, 80 kilograms, or 176 pounds worth of potatoes in a wheelbarrow and wheeling them around. I mean, it's tiring work. And a lot of the time, as I said, people don't realize that. They just think that we're sitting down all the time, so we mustn't get tired. Let me tell you, we get tired. Sometimes I sweat so much that I feel like I've got no liquid left in my body. I've got to constantly fuel myself with, water and all sorts of other things to constantly put it back in because it is basically just draining out of my body because I'm sweating so much. Um, it's, I mean, I guess, and will leave you all with this little nugget. Um, I guess at the end of the day, we have to look at our situation, and it's difficult to do a lot of the time, but we have to look at our situation as somewhat of a blessing. We were given this life for whatever reason it may be, as were everyone else. They were given their own lifestyle. But I really, honestly, truly believe that we were given disabilities for a perfect purpose. We were given spina bifida for a purpose, and that purpose is to make the world a better place. So, with that being said, I will leave you all with that. It's been fun. I've quite enjoyed this, and I shall see you all another day with some more stuff. Peace out. I love you all.